Little preview on your educational background, your work experience, and why you feel suitable to hold the office to which you have been nominated. No more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and honorable members of the Appointments Committee of the National Assembly. And Mr. Speaker, as you rightly put it from the beginning, I know this committee has a constitutional mandate and responsibility to vet appointments or nominations by the President, and so being colleagues notwithstanding. However, I just want to mention very quickly, Mr. Speaker, that I'm John Mbadi, as I've mentioned before, and as you rightly mentioned. I was born 53 years ago in a small village called Seka in Gwasi, Suba South constituency of Homa Bay County. I went to school, first Seka Primary School, 3 years. That's class 1 to 3, class 4 to 8, in another school called Ligongo Primary School. I'll not go into the details because we don't have time to talk about my childhood history. I then proceeded to Kokoro High School. Kokoro Boys is in Awendo constituency, modern day Awendo constituency, where I did my KCSE, and then later proceeded to the University of Nairobi School of Business Studies, that is a Faculty of Commerce. I'm a graduate of accounting, and I'm also a certified public accountant. Actually, I'm a member of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants. I am member number 6101, and I'm in good standing, Mr. Speaker, as can be attested by the file that I've just passed across. Then I must then move straight, Mr. Speaker, to my work experience, which spans over 28 years now. After graduating from the University of Nairobi, Mr. Speaker, I was employed to work with the same university in the finance department. Started off at the very basic level, entry point for a graduate, which is assistant accountant, where I was basically doing the routine accounting duties. But later I rose very quickly to become an accountant, finally to senior accountant 2, and finally to senior accountant 1. In which time now I was involved in more advanced accounting work. I actually was responsible for preparation of the final accounts for the university. I was in a team that was doing that and preparing for final audit. I was also involved largely in cash flow management for the university. I then later left the university to work for an international organization called Media East Africa. It's a humanitarian organization with headquarters in Switzerland. I was the regional finance director responsible for supervising the finance departments of the region, that is Uganda office, South Sudan office, Somalia office, and Kenya office. The budget for that organization, the regional budget, which I was responsible for, was $8 million, which in the current foreign exchange rates could be about 1 billion plus. And my duty in that organization, Mr. Speaker, was basically to do fundraising, do the budget, preparation of budget and fundraising, ensuring proper utilization and efficiency in financial management in the entire region. So I served there for 3.5 years. Then I became a member of parliament, having won my seat for the first time in the elections which were conducted on 29th of December 2007. I won Gwasi parliamentary seat, a seat I won again subsequently 3 times. Actually, I have the record of the only person who has ever been elected in that constituency more than once. But having said that, Mr. Speaker, when I joined this parliament, I have done this now, takes me even to the relevance of my nomination or the docket to which I'm nominated. Since I came to parliament for 15 years, from 2008-15 January to 2022, say for a few months, like about 7-8 months, when I served in the cabinet as assistant minister in the President, I have always been a member of the Budget and Appropriations Committee. This committee is the one that actually has the constitutional responsibility and mandates to prepare the budgets of this country. Actually, the budgets that come from the National Treasury are estimates. The budget is a preserve and function of the National Assembly of the Republic of Kenya. So during which time, when I was a member of the Budget and Appropriation Committee, I interacted a lot with the Kenyan budget and the macroeconomic policies. I can attest that I've interacted with the Budget Review Outlook paper, which is always prepared every year. I am very comfortable with how to generate budget policy statements, budget estimates, finance bills, division of revenue bills, county allocation of revenue bill, generally budget process, and the debt management strategy paper. So, Mr. Speaker, I don't want to go into much detail, but let me just mention for relevance that as Assistant Minister in the Office of the President, I was also involved in helping the Prime Minister. In the Office of the Prime Minister, I was Assistant Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister. And in that office, the responsibility of that office was basically to supervise and coordinate government functions in all ministries, departments, and state agencies, which is very much in line with what my role at the Treasury, if this committee proposes my approval to the National Assembly and finally approved and appointed. In that office, Mr. Speaker, you will recall that there was no minister. And you will also recall that at the time I was appointed, Mr. Speaker and honorable members, there was not even a deputy prime minister. Because remember, the former president, who was a deputy prime minister, had stepped aside because of the cases that he had at the ICC. And the current prime cabinet secretary, who was another deputy prime minister, had already, because of political differences, practically left office. So I was basically deputy or assistant prime minister during that period that I was there. And so I, by default, and I helped the prime minister in coordinating government functions. Now, quickly, because I think my time is almost up, my work in Public Accounts Committee, first as a member in the 11th Parliament for 5 years, and later as the chairman now for 2 years, from 2022, October, I have interacted with how the government spends its revenue. So the government spend is something that now I understand very well. So if I'm given this opportunity, I can easily bring a difference in our financial management, because that is a big concern in this country at the moment. Mr. Speaker, I think I would leave it there, because if I went now to talk about my political life and chairing ODM for 10 years, and I think I would take all the time that's allocated for this vetting. So let me stop.
That will do for now. I'll invite members to ask you questions. And like I said, members, don't be prejudiced by the fact that John Mbadi is your colleague. We have interviewed colleagues before, and you must be able to ask questions without fear or favor. Deputy Speaker, you'll go first.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Mbadi, I think this